Well, it's no longer news that the NFF president, Amaju Pinnick, has finally said he will no longer be contesting for the next time. That's the third time he will be going for it when it comes to Nigerian Football Federation. Welcome you on the show, 360 Sport on Trust TV. I am Adeni Ajishafe. We have to look at this particular story. It's trending right now, where NFF AGA, that's Annual General Assembly that took place in Lagos, Pinnick officially declares not to run for president. Well, that has been the talk of the town for a while. A lot of people are like, well, maybe he's just trying to play some gimmicks, but right now he has confirmed it during the AGA, the Annual General Assembly in Lagos. He won't be going, although a tough decision because they wanted tenure elongation till October, but that was refuted. And right now, election will be coming up by September 30, 2022. I have in the studio in the person of Ibrahim Yusuf. Let's talk sport.
Very nice to be here, as usual.
Now, you just saw the topic I rolled out there concerning the NFF election, or rather the Annual General Assembly, where the NFF president, the incumbent president, says, he's not running again. So to clear the air concerning that.
Yes, well, it's actually a good one. I think it's a good one for Nigerian football. Let's have something different. Pinnick has been there for a very long time, and
the 8 years seems to be like 80 years.
Exactly, it has been. It seems like forever. The guy has been there. Yes, he has had some successes and all that, but still, we need. Let's have somebody who has fresh ideas. Let's see new people come in and maybe take our football to where it needs to get. Right now, we seem to have stagnated. You know, we were on the rise, and then we reached a certain level, and now we're just stuck there. Maybe the next crop of people that are going to come in will actually give us that extra push that we need to actually go forth. And now that he says he's not contesting, this might open up the field a little bit, because a lot of people might be a little bit skeptical about coming out to contest if they know that he's around, because we know the kind of influence that he actually wields. So I think the field will be opened up right now, and we will have a keenly contested election. And I hope the best person wins.
And now, just about what you said, people are coming now. We have about 14 candidates that are already out there. We have a lot of them: Akpobori Ray, Kwebu, Peter Sadionda. Those are the three players so far. Then we have other administrators like Sheyi Akinwumi, that's Barrister Sheyi Akinwumi. You have the essay to the minister, Abayola. You have Emeruwa, you have Akpobori, you have a lot of them. And not forgetting the LMC chairman, that's Diko, that also wants to contest. It's really getting very, very interesting. 14.
And it might swell. Now,
more people will come out.
Exactly.
Now that he has declared that he's not going.
Exactly. Between now and September, a lot of other people might actually come out and declare their intentions. What I would have loved to see was more ex-internationals coming into the fray.
To this fray.
Exactly. More ex-internationals coming into the fray, because some of them have actually gone into administration after retirement. So they know how it goes on the field and in the boardroom. That is very, very important. Having experience on the field and then knowing how to run it in the boardroom is also very important as well. A lot of those internationals went into administration after retirement. So I would have loved to see some of them actually come up to say, okay, this is ours. Let's hold our own football and take it to where it needs to get. I would have loved to see more internationals. Really, with the number that we have and the current number of ex-players that I've seen in the field right now, it's really not
only 3 of them so far.
Exactly. So I'd have loved to see more actually come out, and I hope that between now and September, more of them will actually do that.
Oh, are they scared of?
well, it all depends. You know, it's something that you have to plan for. It's something that you have to have.
It involves money, a lot of things.
A lot of running around, but also most of these internationals actually have the money, and they've actually had the influence, contacts that they've actually made during their playing days, and of course some of them, as I've said earlier, have gone into administration after retirement, so they have the experience.
Of course,
and I think they can do it.
Right now, we've been talking concerning the NFF Annual General Assembly that took place in Lagos on Thursday. A big one there where Amaju Pinnick finally declared that he won't be contesting for the third term. And now Nigeria can at least have a sigh of relief there, because a lot of people were not believing that he won't contest. Right now, we have about 14 contestants so far that will be vying for that particular position, and more are still coming. September 30 in Edo State, precisely in Benin City. That's where the election will be coming up. Well, now let's look at the second item on the law, talking about NFF constitutes electoral appeal committees. Yes, during the AGA, they actually constitute the electoral and appeal committees ahead of September 30 election. And now, before we look at the electoral committees, let's look at the communique issue there. The communique that was issued concerning that particular General Assembly that took place over there in Lagos. The 77th General Assembly of the Nigerian Football Federation, well, they actually congratulated Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari, for always being there to support them and encourage the NFF. From there, they actually run about 4 or 5 different categories in the communique. The Congress approved the suspension of the provision of the NFF statute 2010 and the NFF Electoral Code 2009 that provide a certain duration between the time of constitution of the Electoral Committee and the conduct of elections into the NFF. Well, the General Assembly approved Benin City, like I mentioned earlier, capital of Edo State, as venue for the NFF Elective Congress 2022. Following a motion on the floor of the General Assembly, the Congress approved that the present NFF Executive Committee remain in office to conduct the 38th September 2022 elections in order to avoid any form of vacuum. Congress approved that all decisions reached at the annual General Assembly, in particular to electoral roadmap, be communicated to World Football Governing Body FIFA by the NFF General Secretary without delay for approval, endorsement, and ratification. I love this last one. You know why? It's better because I love the fact that they added that particular phrase, that immediately, so that story no go change.
At the end of the day, because we've had situations like this before. We've had situations like this before. We operate in sort of a vacuum and also sort of in a silo. We conduct elections, and then after that you hear lots.
This faction, that faction, everybody was claiming rights to the presidency.
And then FIFA will come and say, okay, they don't know anybody, or they recognize this faction, they don't recognize that faction. But this one, since it's a General Assembly that actually ratified all this, it's actually good for us to say, okay, FIFA, this is what we're up to, and this is what we're going to do, so that when the election comes, most likely they are going to have representatives here to actually see what goes on, and then monitor the conduct of the election. And at the end of the day, we won't have all these problems that we used to have after elections into any sporting body. Most of our sporting bodies, we have this problem. We hold elections, and then after that, the election is not the problem. It's after the elections, that's when everything
What happens afterwards?
Exactly. Sometimes you have parallel elections being held in different places.
In Katsina, in Congo, in everywhere.
Exactly, and everybody coming up with his own president. And then at the end of the day, we run into problems, and the federations don't function the way they're supposed to. So I hope the NFF can actually be able to sidestep this particular incident concerning these forthcoming elections, because it's been a long time coming, and we've been expecting it for so long, and we hope we get the desired result.
Which also we get desired result. They are talking about the NFF Constituting Electoral Committee and also the Electoral Appeal Committee. Let's look at the Electoral Committee set up by the Nigerian Football Federation, rather the General Assembly. Quickly, let's have the names, and also we look at the Appeal Committee. Well, for the NFF Electoral Committee, we have Anthony Malik as chairman. Akunegre Anthony Malik is the chairman. Dear Justice Abdulkadir Zakaria, that's the vice chairman. Babatunde Ogala San, a member. Daha Umar Dauradan Buram as a member. Also Gambo Maman as member. Alternate members, Barrister Ifeanyi DK, who is among the alternate members. You have Barrister Ransom Ariyo. Those are the members of the Electoral Committee. Yes, these are the people that will make sure this election goes well. And now let's look at the Appeals Committee now, in case something goes wrong. Now we have the NFF Election Appeals Committee, Barrister Gandhi Umar, MNI Chairman, Ayu Akindele San, Vice Chairman, Reverend Obioma Oyeagala as member. Alternate members are Barrister Chive Kave, and you have Barrister Idi Halidu Ali. Those are the Appeals Committee members. Well, everything's about law, barrister everywhere because of what it takes, the legal terms.
Exactly, the legal terms that are there, and of course legal interpretation of things, and statutes and the Constitution and all these things. So I think it's a good thing that the NFF is envisioning these sort of things. Usually we are reactive when these things happen. Is after the elections, when we start going helter-skelter, saying that this one won, this one does not agree, and that one. That's when we start constituting committees to look into conduct. But now that we actually have the appeals committee already in place, immediately after the conduct of the elections, if you're not satisfied, there's a process for you to follow. Lodge in your appeal, and then they'll look at it and make the right decision.
Good one there. Now that the Electoral Committee and also the Electoral Appeal Committee have been set up by the NFF General Assembly for this election, September 30, although something came out there, the NFF president, or let me say the executive body, wanted tenure elongation till October. But the General Assembly refused by saying, no, let's hold this election.
Do this thing now,
they only had extra 10 days. It ought to end September 20. Now they add extra 10 days to make it 30. So now something popped into my mind that, okay, you want it to be October. Why?
Well, maybe there's something that going on behind the scenes that we don't know.
Seriously, because I looked at, okay, so you guys are supposed to end by September 20th.
Yes.
20th, and now you are asking for October.
When you look at the time difference between September
and October, what's the difference?
Exactly,
why October?
What exactly is going to happen within that period? And I think the General Assembly took notice of that, just like we did, and said, so what's the point? If you really have something to do, you can do it within this period. So let's just do this thing now and not shift it.
I love the fact that they just added, okay, for the fact that you asked.
Okay, so let's give you 10 days.
Minus 10 days, nothing is done.
and then whatever it is you want to do, you can do it within that particular period. Whether you are able to do it or not, that is your own problem. But what we are most interested in is for these elections to hold. We hope that these elections will be rancor-free and they will be held under the most peaceful and free and fair atmosphere, so that at the end of the day, Nigerian football will be the better for it.
Nigerian football will be better for it. Coming from Ibrahim Yusuf there, we've been talking about the NFF elections that will be coming up September 30. Finally, it's here. Nothing can stop it now, because the incumbent president has declared that he won't be contesting for third time. And now committees have been set up, 2 committees, and also communique issued, and that right now is out there for people to see really that election will be coming up in Benin City. Let's have a new president, at least. Let's see what Nigerian football will look like. Right now, 14 members, or rather 14 contestants are out there to see if they can win the presidency of the Nigerian Football Federation. Now, we move away from there. Let's talk about, transfer news here and there. Players moving, players staying, coaches. But it seems this time around, a lot of coaches didn't move. I noticed.
Yes, well, most teams actually entered a period of, let's say, a transformational period from last season. We had a lot of coaches moving last season, so a lot of them were given that season as, okay, this is a bonus season for you, let's see what you can do, and then maybe build upon it. So lots of teams are in consolidation now, trying to consolidate the gains that they made last season, or even see how they can be able to move further, unless 1 or 2 teams that actually made the change.
And see you smiling.
Made the change, and now things are not going according to plan. But still, just like you said, a lot of coaches did not move, but lots of player movement. Lots of player movement, and even at that, I think this has somewhat been a bit quiet, the transfer market. I think because of global economic situations and clubs are holding tightly to their pockets.
Barcelona style.
Barcelona style, yes.
Barcelona style,
trying to be a bit frugal.
I don't know how they tried. I'm impressed with the fact that despite the financial issue with them, they were still able to raise funds to buy those players. They were able to meet up, signing some SL's Youth Conde that is left now. But at least they've been able to turn things around.
Yes, they have been able to turn things around. But the fear now is, a lot of people, or lots of Barcelona fans are afraid that, okay, this is not just a stopgap measure that will turn around and bite them at the end of the day. Because it seems like Barcelona are taking a serious gamble now. They're putting a lot of their eggs in this particular basket so that they can be able to make a splash this season and hope to get out there, do well in the tournaments, win the trophies, so that they can be able to get some much needed liquidity so that they can the club can go further. If it so happens that they don't get that success that they're aiming for, with all the investments that they've actually made towards the future of the club, a lot of Barcelona fans are actually scared that it might turn around to bite them at the end of the day. But I think they still managed to show a lot of guile, to be able to, for a club that is in the position of Barcelona is right now, to be able to get and register those a lot of those players, and quality signings at the end of the day, even though most of them are actually free agents, but they are free agents with quality.
Of course.
You know, that they can really deliver. So I think Barcelona has been done very well in trying to manage the situation within this period. We don't know how it's going to affect them going forward, but for now, they seem to have found a solution to their problems.
They seem to have found solutions to their problems. They're talking about the Blorona. Well, very shrewd business style that they actually apply as they're able to buy some players despite the financial issue they're facing. Now we talk about Manchester United. United will double Casemiro's salary on a 4-year deal worth $350,000 a week. Well, they've been after the Brazilian. They want to sign him to move to Manchester United. McTominay and Fred expect something to happen here.
You see, this is a transfer that smacks of desperation. You bring a 30-year-old player and you give him that amount of money. That is a club that actually needs a lot of things to happen quickly. That is why I'm one of those people that is against the transfer window running into the season. As far as I'm concerned, as soon as the season starts, the transfer window should end. The transfer window should end with the start of the season, not in a situation whereby you play 2-3 games into the season and the transfer window is still open, and then people will start running up and down, trying to get players in, trying to do this, trying to do shrewd business if they can. Is Casemiro the solution to Manchester United's problems? I don't think so. He can be able to do what he can do. But I think it's a mentality problem that is in Manchester United. It goes far beyond just saying, I'm going to buy Frankie de Jong, I'm going to buy
how many
Casemiro.
players they've mentioned now? More than 20 players.
You understand? It's a mentality issue. What are you doing about the players that are actually there? The players that are actually there are the ones who need more work. Bruno Fernandes came out like a house on fire when he came to Manchester United. Where is he now? It's not that he doesn't have the talent. It's not that he suddenly forgotten how to play football. I believe it's a mentality issue. Those are the things that the Manchester United should be able to look at. They have the players to do that. They have good players. You understand? May not be top quality like they used to be, but they have good players. They need to get rid of some dead weight and then bring in a couple of more players. They don't need to go and splash the cash, giving a 30-year-old Casemiro this huge amount of money just because you want to make a statement signing and think that you can turn things around automatically. It doesn't work like that. They need to work on the mentality of the players that they actually have. And just like I keep telling people, Ten Hag had absolutely no idea what he was walking into when he collected that Manchester United job. Right now, he's seeing the reality on ground. And I think he's probably biting his fingers in regret.
As it is right now, Manchester United, they just have to up their game. They'll be facing Liverpool, and that match, you can bet Liverpool will do everything to win that game. Right now, they are not in the right place, and the performance has really dropped. And you just have to look at Manchester United. What happened? Some fans actually have been begging. They're begging Alex Ferguson to come back. I don't know how.
It's not a Ferguson thing. I don't think it's a Ferguson
Seriously,
thing.
That Ferguson should come back after how many years?
There are lots of...
Even if he comes back now, he will be shocked
at what is
he
going
will not
on.
be able to do anything.
Exactly, at what is going on right now. I think, just like I've mentioned a lot of times, and I'm still mentioning again, it is a mentality problem. Once they can be able to get out of their heads, they have the players to be able to do this. And this is a very good opportunity. I think Manchester United fans will not agree with me, but this is a very good opportunity for them to play Liverpool now. If they're able to put in a good performance
against Liverpool
and get a good result against Liverpool,
will spur them into action.
It will spur them into action. But if they, on the flip side, if they get hammered,
again,
that is a
third
problem.
one.
If they get hammered,
then every other team in EPL will be like,
exactly,
what?
They're there for the taking. You understand? They're there for the taking. Even now, people,
and it will affect the players.
Even now, teams are saying that Manchester United is there for the taking. Brentford, Brighton beating you guys. I mean, like,
then we can do it.
We can do it. There is the very high tendency that they can get beat 7-0, 8-0 by Liverpool, and that will really, really destroy their season. But if they can go there, get a decent result, even if it is a draw.
Yes, a draw at least.
And play very good football with serious mentality, good poise and character that we know Manchester United is known for. If they can actually go there and do that, give it a good performance, even if you get beat, at least if it is respectable, it can be able to spur their season, and it might be able to make a change.
We just hope that things will change for Manchester United, the Red Devils right now. It seems the devil has gone to hide. Things are really getting tough now. Well, we talked about Newcastle United. Well, Newcastle United midfielder, that is Bruno Guimaraes, is ideal replacement for Casemiro if he leaves Real Madrid, that if that particular deal comes to fruition. Well, from the way it is, Bruno Guimaraes, a player that Newcastle, I say, we won't sell, but Real Madrid, I say, well, that's the player we want.
But the thing is, do Newcastle need to sell? Newcastle do not need to sell. They're under absolutely no obligation to sell right now, because if it's money you're talking about,
they have it.
Not many clubs can show Newcastle financial muscle now. You understand? So you can't bully them into selling you a player, unless there is the player's will to leave and all that. And just like I said earlier, this is the wrong time, unless you actually have transfer listed a player from the beginning of the season. This is the wrong time for you to sell a player, because if you sell your player, you have to get somebody in. That is the problem that Real Madrid is facing now. If they let Casemiro go, they'll have to go and get a replacement, and that is when they will get slaughtered. Because any club can name their price. If you want this player, pay this amount of money. If you can't, then leave us, because we're under no obligation to sell. But because you are desperate, you can actually go and pay any amount of money to get that player through the window. So it's a desperate situation for Real Madrid. If they do lose Casemiro and they're looking for a replacement right now in the market, there's a very high tendency that they get slaughtered in the market.
And right now, Casemiro seems not to be too keen to stay anymore because of Tchouaméni, the young man from France that was gotten.
Yes, and of course, they're almost doubling his salary. At the end of the day, it's all about that. You understand? They're almost doubling his salary at 30 for you to get a sweet deal like that.
$350,000.
You should go. Where will he get somebody that's going to buy him for that amount of money? But right now, a desperate Manchester United is willing to do anything possible. Be given a 30-year-old those kind of wages for a 4 or 5 year deal. I mean, it's a sweet deal for Casemiro, no matter how you look at it. And he knows he will come to Manchester United and he will play. Because they have absolutely no option but to play him.
He will play. Because looking at the amount they are splashing out every week, week in, week out, they just have to play him.
They have to play him, exactly. And it's a World Cup year. Maybe he might have eyes in the national team.
Brazil,
well.
of course. That's the thing. It's a star-studded team now. Exactly. When you look at Brazilian squad, it's always there. They fight for honors to see who gets in.
And you need to play to get there. So it's a very good opportunity for him, really. Is it a good deal for Real Madrid? Is it a good deal for Manchester United? Nobody really knows. But I think if at the end of the day, if this deal goes through, then the biggest winner is Casemiro.
Good one there. Now let's look at the last straw on the law, talking about Fulham. Well, Fulham could go for Patrick Kluivert's son. That's Justin Kluivert, who plays for AS Roma. Right now, they are negotiating with Roma for Dutch winger Justin Kluivert, although news came out that he has actually agreed personal terms with AS Roma, with Fulham, and he could be moving.
Yeah, it's a move that could happen, and I think it's a good move for the player. This guy has so much potential. He burst onto the scene and he had so much promise, not because of his last name, but because of he does have the potential, he has the skills, he has the ability to actually do what he's supposed to. But something went wrong. I think he went to Roma at the wrong time. He should have developed a little bit more before
he moves there.
Before going to AS Roma. So I think that affected him because he didn't have enough game time, and then injuries came into the fray and all. But he's a young player, and I think a platform like Fulham would be very good for him to come and rediscover himself and probably relaunch himself onto the football map. But you know, the problem is players like this that come with a last name this heavy are always under scrutiny, and they're always under pressure to deliver, you know, because of what their parents have actually done. We've seen what is happening with Thuram. We've seen what happened to what's happening to Ware. All these guys are very good players, but they are being put under so much pressure and scrutiny to emulate their fathers that they seem to have been stuck in a rut somehow. They've gotten to a certain level and they have failed to make that leap towards the big leagues. And maybe if they had been allowed to develop organically, they would have surpassed this level. But because of the pressure that being placed on them, that is the problem. But I think this is a good one for Justin. If he can go to Fulham and relaunch himself, it will be very good for his career, because he's a young player and he has so much talent. He's a very, very good player. And if he finds the right environment, he can be able to flourish.
Let's see if Justin Kluivert will actually flourish by the time he moves to Fulham, because right now personal times have actually been agreed, and now the clubs are talking, negotiating if he can move away from AS Roma to England to play for Fulham. Well, a good one there. Let's see the skills of his father in him, Patrick to Justin. That will be it on 360 Sport on Trust TV. Ibrahim Yusuf, Thank you very much.
It's always nice to be here, Denny.
Are you not contesting for NFF president?
Not unless you contest with me.
I should contest.
Yes.
Good morning there. I am Denny Ajishafe. Thanks for watching.